So there's nothing quite like the very first day of January of a new year to start a new planner. I spent some time thinking about what I really wanted to use the 2020 year task planner I got a few months back for. And while I decided that probably 90% of it will be for tender forms, I'll leave the last 10% to kind of mark dates where I know I'll be unavailable to produce anything for tender forms. Onto the planners themselves. This one you've seen in my Instagram stories before. It's the appointed 2020 year task planner. And then this one is basically going to be my supplementary planner. And what I mean by that is because I'll be devoting a lot of my overall tender forms production schedule in terms of shooting, editing, different posts that I may be doing for Instagram, stories, ideas, all that will be in the year task planner. I'll be using this more for like the overhead view of what I'm doing, but on a day-to-day where my lists can maybe get a little bit more detailed, I'll use this notebook instead. And this one is just from Muji. I believe it's their recycled paper because I like that they are cautious about that. If you just go in the store or online, they'll specify which ones are the recycled paper ones. But it's basically just a super simple dot grid notebook. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but it's a really fine dot grid. And that's what I really love about the Muji notebooks. Their grids are always super faint, and this one's just a blank one. It's a brand new one. I have used the same one in 2019 and it's worked really well. So you can see this is my 2019 one, and I've just filled this one up basically with a bunch of different things. This one wasn't as separated in terms of work and tender forms, but the new one will be strictly tender forms and my overall kind of skincare journal. So in terms of tools, I have a few to choose from. The first one being the Stabilo pen. This is in fine 0.4, but I love it because it's actually a really smooth writing experience. Some types of pens that are like this fine felt tip point do drag a little on paper, but this one is actually really smooth, pigmented. It's a deep black. It's really great. And I think it's archival, so it shouldn't fade, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's also known as the .88 pen. The next one will probably be the one I use the most, and that's the Muji black pen. This one is in .38, which is another pretty fine 0.1, as you can see. It also glides really smoothly on paper. It will smudge because it takes a bit to dry, so be careful when you're writing it and where your hand is placed. I also have the same one in red, which will be most likely used for important dates that I should remember. Yeah, and it's also in the .38. Then finally, I'll keep this highlighter on hand just to help kind of really see anything that may need my direct attention on a daily or weekly basis. And it'll most likely be used for when I want to track my filming dates to see kind of which days in particular I may have filmed throughout the year on the yearly calendar, but we'll see. It'll definitely come in handy for multiple purposes. And then one more tool I'll probably be using are these kind of sticky note tabs. I got this when my husband and I went to Japan a few years back now. You can get them at any stationery store, and they're basically just, as you can see here, a small sticky tab that you can put. And I really love these because you can remove them and stick them elsewhere, and they don't leave any adhesive residue. They are easy to spot, especially if you're just using a few, plus they're color coded, so if you have a specific system you'd like to use, it'll be easy to spot which ones you're looking for. I'll probably be using these throughout the planner and the journal as well. So I thought we'd start with a look at just how the 2020 year task planner is laid out before I write anything in it. So this is the 2020 year task planner by Appointed. On the first spread they have the yearly calendar, so they've included both 2020 and 2021. I think what I'll most likely be using this yearly overlook for is some sort of tracker, because I'm interested to see this year kind of which days I upload and then which days the videos go live, just to kind of see how many videos I get to produce this year, since I know I won't be traveling much. So it's not like I need this yearly overlook to see which days I'm on holiday or anything. So yes, this will be some sort of tracker most likely. Then the following page is just a common conversions chart. It's always nice that these are included. Then we move into the different months divided by tabs, first one being January, of course. At the beginning of each month, Appointed has laid out both a month goals and an important dates list. I think for the month goals list, I'll be keeping these what I'm going to call as lofty goals. So ones that I really want to push myself to achieve that month. And then for the important dates, I think this I'll fill out kind of as we go through the month, just because sometimes I don't know when exactly I will be working until it's very close to the day when I'm actually working. And so I think that kind of shifts the important dates. So depending on my work schedule is how I'll incorporate the important dates into this section. Then the following spread is the monthly overview. So at the bottom left and right hand corners is the previous month and the following month. And it's nice that Appointed has included holidays in another really faint gray, so they don't pop out as much as the dates do, but they're still there for reference. And they also have a little notes section in case you want to list anything or expand on anything that you may have put into the monthly overview. This spread I think is what will be my messiest, and that's just because I know I'll be using this spread as a catch-all for all the dates that I want to keep in mind. So not only will it include tender forms, shoot, edit, and post dates, but it will also include when I'm working. So I think just by that nature, there may be a lot of crossouts. This will definitely be my craziest looking spread, I think. Then we move into the actual weekly views. So at the bottom left-hand corner is a monthly view, which I think is really nice to include just because then I don't need to flip from page to page to figure out when certain dates are. I can just look over here and it'll help me schedule what I want to focus on weekly. And it's laid out in a similar planner fashion where it starts with Monday and then ends Saturday, Sunday. And both the weekend days are shallower in terms of the field, just because I think most people are not working as much on Saturday, Sundays, though I probably will be. But I still think it gives ample room for what I want to achieve that week. And I still have more than enough space for whichever goals or tasks I have distilled into this particular week. On the right side, they laid out a priorities list, a tasks list, and a notes section. I think the notes section is actually pretty roomy, which is nice because in case you want to expand on anything that you've written in your weekly, which obviously has lesser room, you can do so in the notes section. And I like that they differentiated the priorities and tasks just so you can see kind of what is most important to you that you want to achieve this week versus tasks which aren't as important if you happen to skip one. But it's still nice that the tasks list is pretty roomy also, and it comes in a checklist format. So then the following pages are obviously week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. And at the end of the month is just a lined page, so in case any of the notes sections in the previous weeks weren't enough, you can use this as a place to write down anything else you might have missed. And it's also just nice to have in case it's reminders for anything you want to achieve in February. So then they just repeat the same order and then all the way through December. And the planner ends on that same lined page. And then that's it. Appointed logo, American made, Washington, D.C., appointed.com. So I've already kind of gone through all the months and kind of listed birthdays that I know are happening. any anniversaries and such. So for January month goals, I have 3 main ones listed here. And again, these are my loftier goals, like really things that I want to accomplish but may be difficult to. So there are 3 videos that I'm hoping to get out this month, which are the YouTube planner video, which is this one that you're seeing now, and then my 2019 index, which you'll learn about when that comes out, and then hopefully also my December and January vlog. And I don't know why I wrote November when I was doing this, so I have my first cross out in my new planner. And the last one is to rest, which seems like a strange goal to put, but I really do have to constantly remind myself to rest because I do tend to overwork myself often, and so I have the first week and a half of January off, at which point I was hoping to do the majority of the YouTube videos that I want to get out this month, but at the same time I will be returning to work after the week and a half, so I want to make sure that I remind myself to rest. So the first thing that's happening in January that I know for sure is an Instagram stories series that I'm participating in, and it's the 2020 skin edit, and it starts from January 1st through the 14th. So you can kind of see that I've continued that line there and then ended it with a period / dot. Then for the rest of this week, it's a lot of YouTube work, today being filming this planner video, then tomorrow and Friday, hopefully lots of editing. Then moving on to the weekly view with the first week of January, I have for today the IG stories again, 2020 skin edit, filming this planner video, and then my New Year's Day post on Instagram. And I've kind of made a legend here, and it's really just for you guys to see. I just put it in the notes section for now. Almost everything tender forms wise will have a code, so I can see kind of at a glance what I'll be doing that week or day. And it's broken up by Instagram and YouTube. So Instagram stories will have an IGS, and then Instagram posts IGP. And then YouTube is broken down by film, edit, upload, and when the video goes live. And that is YTF, YTE, YTU, and YTL. And then for my priorities up here, it's really filming this YouTube planner video and then editing for the rest of this week. And then the only other thing I have right now in the monthly views, aside from birthdays and anniversaries like you've seen, is when I know people will be coming to visit. So on the last week of February, my family is coming to visit. Also, because they're staying a full week, I did use the bottom right hand calendar for March to continue the red line, so I know till when I won't be available. And then I did the same for February in the March overview. And also what I'll probably be including in here as well is when I start a new skincare product. This past year I really enjoyed documenting my skincare journey, writing daily lists of which skincare items I used, which combinations worked, which combinations didn't, any ingredients that I felt were irritating my skin. So I'll probably be writing in at least the weekly portions which dates I try any new products, and kind of write down first impressions in the notes. Anything that are going to expire soon, I'll jot them in the planner as well. And maybe I'll even use the highlighter for when I know something is expiring. Since it's the 1st of January today, there's still a lot of room to kind of figure out how I want to use this planner best. And I'm sure that once I start filling things in, I'll realize what is working and what isn't. And it's always great to kind of solidify ideas by putting them on paper. I think there's just nothing quite like writing on paper. I also just love stationery in general, so that's another reason why. But I'm excited to use this planner, and I'm excited to kind of map out what I want to achieve this year and kind of see the progress. So I hope you found this video somewhat helpful. Maybe you found some new tools that you like or are interested in this planner. They do offer other versions. I think there's a weekly planner and maybe even a daily planner, along with just their line of notebooks if you're interested. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.